Novak Djokovic, the greatest tennis player to ever walk the earth. From humble beginnings to 24 Grand Slam titles and Olympic gold at 37, the oldest champion in history. This is his story. In May 1987, in Belgrade, Yugoslavia, a boy was born in a small apartment above his parents' pizzeria. His name was Novak Djokovic. Few could imagine that this child, growing up in the chaos of war and poverty, would one day become the greatest tennis player the world has ever seen. From the very beginning, Novak was different. At just 4 years old, with a toy racket and a foam ball, he already carried himself like a professional. He arrived at practice with a small bag, a spare shirt, and water. The other kids laughed at him. The coaches didn't take him seriously. He was small, thin, not the obvious athlete, but Novak had something they couldn't see yet: a fire inside. That fire had a name. In Serbian, they call it Inat, a stubborn, defiant willpower that refuses to break. When Novak was 6, fate introduced him to Jelena Gencic, a legendary Yugoslav coach. She spotted him at a camp in Kopaonik, hitting balls with relentless focus while other children grew tired or played around. Gencic later said, "The moment I saw him, I knew he would become the world champion." She became his mentor, his tennis mother. She taught him not only forehands and backhands, but music, poetry, discipline, and character. She saw greatness before anyone else did. But while Gencic believed, the world around Novak doubted.
Played classical music for him
Of course,
and read him poems by
course.
Pushkin.
of course.
Was this going to help his tennis or just make him a better human being?
A better human being.
I had to know at least 2 languages. I had to listen to the classical music because it calms me down.
Did
I
you
can be
enjoy
more-
it then?
I did, and I still do.
The 1990s were brutal years for Serbia: sanctions, poverty, and finally the NATO bombings of 1999. Novak was 12 when bombs fell near Belgrade. Nights were spent in shelters, days on broken courts with torn nets. Sometimes he trained indoors in improvised halls, sometimes not at all. Instead of breaking him, the war forged him. Novak later said, "War and all the experiences I had affected me as a person, helped me grow, helped me change. I wouldn't be the same without them." He learned early how to live with fear, uncertainty, and sacrifice. His parents, Sorjan and Dijana, worked endlessly to keep his dream alive. They borrowed money with crushing interest rates, risking everything. His mother tried to shield him from the truth, not letting him know how close they were to losing everything. Only later did Novak realize just how much his family had suffered for him.
How long did they hide from you the sacrifices that they had to make so you could pursue your dreams?
For a long time. They did hide, and they succeeded in hiding a lot of things that made them suffer and that they had to sacrifice in order for me to, pursue my love for tennis, my love for sport. But there were certain things that they could not hide from me. I could clearly see. I remember that at one point my dad took out a 10 Deutschmark bill and put it on the table, and he said, "This is all we got."
At 12, Novak's parents made the hardest decision of their lives: to send their son to Nikola Pilic's academy in Germany. It cost more than they could afford, but it was necessary. At the academy, Novak endured grueling drills, hours of serving against a wall, endless stretching, conditioning, building a body that could bend but not break. He was lonely, away from home, but he embraced the suffering. Every sacrifice, every drop of sweat was a step closer to his dream. By 14, he was the European champion, winning both singles and doubles. Still, doubters dismissed him as too fragile, too emotional, too ordinary. But Novak had already built his identity. When the world said no, his Inat whispered, "I will show you." In 2003, he turned professional. The road was not easy. Losses piled up, and critics said he would never last against stars like Nadal or Federer. But Novak refused to give in. Every setback fueled him. In 2008, at just 20 years old, Djokovic won his first Grand Slam title at the Australian Open, defeating Wilfried Tsonga.
Game, second out, Djokovic. 4-6. 6-4, 6-3, 7.
He was no longer just a promising kid from Belgrade. He was a Grand Slam champion. But the real turning point came in 2011. That year, Novak won Wimbledon, the tournament he had always called the Holy Grail. He defeated Rafael Nadal in the final and became the world #1 for the first time. For a boy who once practiced under air raid sirens, standing on center court as champion was more than victory. It was destiny.
There's a new champion at Wimbledon, Novak Djokovic. Fabulous in 4 sets, too good.
Novak's career has been defined by matches where most players would have surrendered. The 2012 Australian Open final against Nadal lasted 5 hours and 53 minutes, the longest Grand Slam final in history. By the 5th set, both men could barely stand. Novak tore his shirt open after the win, collapsing in exhaustion. It was pure survival, pure Inat. In the 2019 Wimbledon final against Roger Federer, Novak saved 2 championship points and won in a historic 13-12 fifth set tiebreak. The crowd cheered Federer, but Novak thrived in defiance. He later said, "When the stadium is chanting Roger's name, I hear Novak."
When they write the story of the great tennis matches, Novak Djokovic is the champion in Melbourne for the 3rd time. That was simply extraordinary.
But even champions face darkness. In 2017, Novak's elbow gave out. The pain was unbearable. He missed months of play, dropped out of the rankings, and openly considered retirement. Critics declared him finished, but Novak rebuilt himself. Surgery, new diet, meditation, yoga, mental training. He reinvented not just his body, but his entire mindset. By 2018, he returned stronger than ever, winning Wimbledon and the US Open in the same year.
And that's it, a 4th Wimbledon title. Championship for Anderson.
Victory for Djokovic!
Difficult times, but you know, you learn from adversity. You know, you learn when you're down, when you have doubtful moments, when things are not working out as you want them to. And I try to, you know, take the best out of myself in those moments and thrive on this support and love that I get from close ones, and to get myself in this position.
Then came COVID-19. In 2022, Djokovic arrived in Melbourne as the defending Australian Open champion, but his visa was cancelled due to vaccination rules. He was detained in a hotel, interrogated, then deported. It was humiliating. The world mocked him. Many said it would break him, but Novak's Inat wouldn't allow it. He came back sharper, hungrier, proving again that no wall is high enough to stop him.
But the minister had cancelled Djokovic's visa over concerns his presence in Australia, and I'm quoting here, would encourage what he called anti-vax sentiment in the country. Now sit on that for a second. The concern was that Djokovic remaining in Australia would encourage anti-vax sentiment in the country.
The world number 5 boarded a private jet. Touching down in Melbourne, the red carpet rolled out for his arrival. The tennis superstar then stopped traffic for an impromptu meet and greet on the side of the road. It's a very different reception to the one Djokovic received 12 months ago, where he was detained in an immigration hotel, then kicked out of the country after having his visa cancelled over fears he could stoke anti-vax sentiment. This year, he's being welcomed back with open arms.
He's a perfect 10. Let the celebrations begin. Mihai on the right, Goran his coach. Claudia, who's come on board just recently as well. His brother Marco, Eduardo, and his mum.
For years, Olympic gold eluded him. Bronze in Beijing, heartbreak in London, Rio, and Tokyo. It haunted him. But in Paris, 2024, Novak finally won the gold medal in men's singles. With it, he completed the career Golden Slam. All 4 majors and Olympic gold. It was the last jewel in his crown, a symbol of patience, perseverance, and belief.
Novak Djokovic finally gets what he wanted. Olympic gold.
7-6.
And speaking of 5, he's the 5th player to complete the career Golden Slam.
Du match pour la médaille d'or. Another match winner from Serbia, Novak Djokovic.
And just look at that. And at this level,
today, Novak Djokovic has more Grand Slam titles than any player in history. The most weeks ranked world number 1, wins over every great rival, on every surface, in every era, victories in the longest, hardest, most brutal matches tennis has ever seen. And yet, what truly defines him isn't the numbers, it is his mentality.
I think it all starts even before you get out on the court. You know, what you do to get yourself mentally prepared for the match, to get yourself in the right state of mind where you are, you know, calm, composed, serene enough, but yet you have the right intensity and the drive and motivation to play well and be dynamic and fast on the courts. Well, I can only speak on my own behalf. Obviously, we spoke about power of, you know, visualization and preparing yourself for possible scenarios. And I obviously try to play the match in my mind before I go on the court. And I, you know, always try to imagine myself as a winner. And I think there is a power to that. And but also there has to be, next to the willpower, you know, strength that comes not just from your physical self, but from your mental and emotional self. And it's, I think it's, well, for me at least, it's a constant battle within, you know, more than what happens outside. It's really not the situations that you experience that are affecting you, but how you internally experience those situations, how you accept them, how you live through them. So,
from a child laughed at by other kids, to a boy training during bombings, to a teenager sent away from home with nothing but hope, to a man denied entry into countries, written off after injuries, doubted again and again. Novak Djokovic never stopped believing. He embodies Serbia's Inat, the refusal to break, the defiance to rise, the will to endure. His entire career is proof that greatness isn't given. It's forged in fire, in doubt, in sacrifice, in pain. Novak Djokovic is not just a champion. He is the ultimate survivor, the relentless warrior, and the greatest to ever hold a racket. Nevertheless, Novak's mindset and relentless belief in himself made him the man he is today. Despite all odds being against him, he didn't just achieve his childhood dream, he became the greatest to ever do it. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for future videos.